Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you're enjoying yourself and having an absolutely wonderful Christmas. As you know, we record these a little bit beforehand, so I have no idea what my homily is going to be about yet. But what's always struck me about Christmas is a reflection that comes from Pope Benedict XVI. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm sorry I don't remember what book this is from, but it basically has to do with, size doesn't matter with God. And it starts with, this beautiful reflection is that if you think about the cosmos, okay, just think about the size of the cosmos. And sometimes, to be fancy in my homily, I'll get some numbers that don't make sense to me about how big everything is, the ever-expanding cosmos. Then you think about us, and our galaxy itself is just a little piece of space dust. And then you look at our little solar system, and the sun is a tiny little piece of space dust. And then you look at the Earth, which is just a tiny little piece of space dust. And then there's us, on Earth, which is just a tiny little piece of space dust. And then there's our brains, which are just a little. I mean, it's amazing. And then, our brains, it's not just our physical brains, our souls, which just brings up a whole other thing. But, we just, everything that we know and we think, and the point is unless the government is like secretly crafting a Millennial Falcon, we're never going to get to the other side of the cosmos. Like, what's the deal, right? What is the deal? And as Christians, as Catholics, we make a stunning point, which some call arrogance, but I think it's correct, is that all this is for us. But we're never going to get over there, right? I mean, I don't know, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but even our best satellites that we're shooting out there and everything, I mean, we're taking pictures of things that are far away, but it doesn't even scratch the surface. And so what Pope Benedict said is God wastes for us. Okay? I mean, just that's amazing. And God's waste, if you will, is gorgeous. It's amazing. It's breathtaking. I mean, look at those pictures that we do get back from space. I mean, it's immense. And that's just waste. That's just God's beauty that he gives for us. He's like, oh, by the way, out there, check that out. And I spoke that into being. And this is the God we always question, right? Because things aren't going right in our life. But that's kind of a different thing altogether. But this same God who put us on this tiny little piece of space dust planet, which is gorgeous in and of itself, right? And we've got all of our problems. And our problems are similar to problems 2,000 years ago. And all of us think we know how to solve these problems. And 2,000 years ago, I bet everyone who thought they had an answer for these problems, they missed it because they thought big things, right? Just like we think big things. And yet God's answer to those problems was to be found, again, in smallness. In Bethlehem, which was the backwater of the Middle East, right? No one thought about Bethlehem. To a poor, impoverished couple, to a virgin, and it was to be found in the face of a baby. No one thought about that. Just like today, no one thinks about that. I mean, isn't that fascinating? That's how God works. And that is so impactful that we're still celebrating it today. Even people who don't believe in God are going to celebrate Christmas. That's part of what today is all about. And again, that's not even scratching the surface, but that's how God works. So part of today, obviously we don't want to talk about presents and this sort of thing, and we give presents. The reason we give presents and the reason that we struggle with the commercialism has to do with this little baby. That's why we do all these things. That's why we sing. We're trying to keep alive the fact that all this started in Bethlehem, in the backwoods of the Middle East, because of a baby. And he was the answer to all the world's problems back then, and he's still the answer to the problems today. And so let us take that to prayer. Let us really take that to prayer today. in gratitude that that's how God's working. So let's not miss the little things when we get together as family. Let us not miss those things as we come to Mass. And let us not miss those things as we continue our lives, to know that God will show up in the little things, and those to God are the most important things. And that can change our lives. Because remember, God spoke all this into being, and He is in charge, and He loves us. So Merry Christmas, and let us continue to worship this little baby so that one day we may see Him in heaven face to face.